Okay, coming back, Linda, onto body language, right? So you mentioned about 43 muscles on your face, which are used in making many expressions. Tell me something which I can use in day-to-day life, to understand the intention of the person I'm going to talk. Maybe it's somebody new whose baseline I don't know yet. I'm meeting them for the
Absolutely.
first time. How do I use my knowledge of body language to understand what kind of person it is, he is or she is? And yeah.
Okay, so one of the things you want to do when you meet someone, it's not about you, it's about them.
Mhm.
So for those of you that are out there networking and you're thinking, well, I want to, and nowadays I want to give them my digital information because now we got digital business cards now. And there are a few people that are still giving the beautiful business cards, but you're so busy wanting to network what you have. When you make it about the person, you will notice a transformation to begin to take place. Because when someone meets you for the very first time and you do the same thing, the brain is thinking and looking at you and wondering, is this person friend or foe? Because they have to know how to protect themselves.
Mhm.
So once you start connecting and building rapport, why is rapport important? Because it allows them to relax and not have that shield up. Like, okay, where they're looking at you with squinted eyes, discerning, is he showing up the way he's supposed to be, or is this person for the real deal? When they're relaxed and feeling good. And one of the best ways that you can do it, watch this, is beginning to ask a person about themselves, who they are, what they like to do, their dreams, their desires, and what their goals are. And people love talking about themselves or things that are important to them. Now I'm comfortable doing that. Then you'll begin to continue the line of questioning, and then you may ask a tough question that may make them uncomfortable. It is just in that instance that you can see a shift in their body language. So, one of the key things I tell everyone, number one, build rapport, create a connection, all right, and be observant. Watch the face and also the hands and anything below the waist, the face, the hands, and below the waist. Because quite often our feet and our legs, they don't lie. They're pointed in the direction that we want to go. So if you're in a networking circle and things are getting a little tense and you want to get out of that circle, you will notice that your upper carriage, you will be looking at the person, but your body, look at you, Ajay, will start to turn because you're wanting to exit and your body is turning towards the direction of the feet, and the feet are probably pointed towards the door or whatever the opening is in the circle. So my key and my key for you, this gives us a golden key for those of you that are out there listening and watching. Here's your golden key: be 100% present in their presence, so that when you're looking at their face and you're asking them a question. So I did this with one of my friends. She was telling me that she was over the guy that she was dating. And Ajay, she tells us to the girls, tells us to us all the time, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And we'd never believe her because she would say the words, but her nonverbal, she was still with the guy. And
Mm.
then one day she started dating someone else. And she said to everyone, I'm over him, I'm over him, I'm over him. I still didn't believe it, even though she was dating someone else. And here's what I said to her. Now watch, because I knew a little something about the guy that she's dating. And I'm going to change his name. Okay, I'm just going to use another name. And I said, you know what? And look at my head. I'm looking right at her nodding. It's a good thing that you're over him. It's a good thing. So I'm giving her affirmation. See, sometimes we don't give facial confirmation or nonverbal confirmation. Sometimes people just sit there and listen to you like this and they're not giving you any validation. And I said, eyes open. I did a little eyebrow flash. Good for you, meaning I'm surprised. Good for you that you're over him. That's good for you. And this is what I said, which was the kicker. And I said, it's a good thing because Kevin has moved on too. And she froze. Now, if she was over him,
Yeah.
she could have done something like this. We're good for him. Good for him. Good luck to the next woman. But why did she freeze? Because at that moment, the fear of losing him to someone else for good at that moment. And I knew she wasn't over him. Knew it because she started asking a bunch of questions. So, why is this important? Because I was 100% present in her presence. I was watching her body languages. I was watching her hand gestures. I was watching her tilt her little head. I'm done, and I found someone else, and I love him. But well, here's the thing: she's saying I found someone else, and I love him, and the head shaking no.
Tell,
so,
tell me
so
about the
just
hand
be aware.
gestures. Tell me about the hand gestures. How can I lie with using my hands?
Well, how can you do what with your hands?
Lie or telling the truth. How do you know?
Okay, well, so one of the things is that when you learn nonverbal communication and you begin to master it, I tell folks all the time, and I think many of my mentors will say the same thing. Your brain's not going to lie. The amygdala is not going to lie. So its job is to tell the truth. And what we try to do is override it. So your hands are very important. Exposing the palms of your hands is very important. And studies have shown people who are being truthful and just remember now, I'll talk to you about con artists, but people who are being truthful and they're expressing themselves or being authentic, if you will, are sharing information that they believe to be true, the palms will be exposed. It is very challenging or difficult unless you are, I don't know, psychopath, sociopath, to be deceptive or lie for extended period of time without exposing the palms. Why is it? No matter where you are around the world, if I walked into the room and accused you, Ajay, did you take my cookie? I didn't do it, Linda. I didn't do it. Why would your hands go up? Your hands don't go like this. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. So if the hands go back, I didn't take your cookie. You did, because you think you're hiding the imaginary cookie that's gone that you already ate now. But when we accuse people of things, we do this automatically, right? When a police officer stops you, pretty much around the world, they want to see your hands.
Yeah.
Because the hands also indicate what your intent is. So a person who's being deceptive, they are thinking of the story as they go along. And quite often, they don't use that many gestures because they have to focus on the story. All right. So quite often they're still. And just a little secret for you, if you don't believe someone and you're thinking, when you begin to ask them questions to go into detail about the situation, they can't give you the answer. And that's when they get a little uneasy. And another thing, they cannot tell the story backwards. So one of the things, so I'm trained in analytical interviewing, I think, which is a nice word for interrogation. So I'm certified in analytical interviewing. And one of the things that if I'm talking to a witness or suspect or just interviewing someone, I'll begin to ask them a series of questions. And I could tell if they're stretching the truth a little bit, or if they're not being truthful and they're giving me the information and they're thinking very fast and they're speaking very fast because they're trying to get the information out as they're thinking, get it all out. And one of the things I do when I'm listening, I'm leaning in and I'm giving them some affirmation, facial data affirmation. And then I'll go like this. Okay, thank you so much. Now I'm exhaling for a reason, because when I exhale, if they're not being truthful, Ajay, what do you think they're going to do?
If they're not being truthful.
If they're not being truthful, the moment that I exhale,
think that you kind of you are on the same page as them.
Right, but guess what they do? They exhale too. It's like, she believed me. So just seeing that, because remember that they're talking rather fast, they're trying to get the story all out, trying to get the deep, they're thinking as they go along, and they're not breathing properly. And you will see when I exhale, okay, they will exhale too, like, okay, wow. And then I go in for the kill. And I'll say to them, I don't know if I should use that word or not, go in for the kill. I just go in for the win, Ajay. And this is what I say. I'll say, Ajay, so that I won't miss anything that was important to you. And I want to make sure I'm getting all the details. Let's take the whole scenario from the very end. And that's when I get that deer in headlights, because they can't tell the story backwards.
Wow. We'll have to try it.
You may have a pathological liar, but just try it. But now here's the deal. Don't try to interrogate people. Don't make people feel uncomfortable, because then they'll go on the defense. Here's a little soundbite for you. A tactic known. If I'm saying to you, okay, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to manipulate me. You're trying to do NLP on me. You're trying to do some kind of other program on me, and people feel that way and they'll get offended and they'll shut down. A tactic known is a tactic blown. If I know what you're doing, your tactic is blown.
Yeah.
Like a magician. Oh, I know how the trick works. It's gone.